Logan, this is Dr. Thornton. You've made a grave mistake.
You're not keeping us off this plane. Not today.
The bustling terminal of Chicago O'Hare International Airport hummed with the usual chaos of a Thursday morning in September. Travelers hurried to their gates, dragging suitcases and clutching coffee cups, while announcements crackled over the intercom. At Gate B-17, two 17-year-old black twins, Amara and Elise Thornton, stood at the check-in counter for Great Lakes Airlines Flight 312 to Boston. Dressed in crisp uniforms from Lincoln Academy, a prestigious private school in Evanston, they held first-class boarding passes for a college tour trip they'd planned for months. Amara, with her 4.0 GPA and early admission to Harvard's pre-law program, and Elise, with stellar SAT scores and a scholarship to MIT's engineering school, radiated quiet confidence. Their father, Dr. Marcus Thornton, a man of understated influence, had booked the tickets to ensure their comfort on this milestone journey. But as they approached the counter, the atmosphere shifted. The gate agent, Richard Baxter, a man in his late 40s with a practiced smile, glanced at their boarding passes and froze. His eyes narrowed, and his tone turned icy. "Tickets and ID," he said, his voice carrying a chill that hadn't been there for the white couple he'd just processed. Amara placed their documents on the counter with care. "Good morning. We're checking in for Flight 312 to Boston." Baxter picked up the boarding passes, holding them to the light as if inspecting a counterfeit bill. "These don't look right," he announced loudly, drawing glances from nearby passengers. "Where did you get these tickets?" Elise's jaw tightened, but she kept her voice steady. "Our father booked them through Great Lakes' website." "Is there an issue?" Baxter's lips pressed into a thin line. "I need to verify these." "Wait here." He disappeared into a back office, leaving the twins standing awkwardly as whispers rippled through the line. "Probably trying to scam their way into first class," one passenger muttered. Another smirked, assuming the teenagers couldn't possibly afford such seats. After 20 minutes, Baxter returned with new boarding passes. "System error," he said with false authority. "You've been reassigned to economy, seats 28C and 28D. Amara examined the new passes, her brow furrowing. "This isn't right. Our father booked first class, seats 1A and 1B. Baxter leaned forward, his voice low and hostile. "Listen, not everyone belongs in first class. Be grateful you're on the plane at all." The words stung like a slap, their meaning unmistakable. Amara's hand gripped Elise's arm, signaling restraint. They'd been taught that anger from young black women could be twisted against them. "We'd like to speak to a supervisor," Amara said calmly. Baxter smirked. "Supervisor's busy. Take it up at the gate." Humiliated, the twins stepped aside, feeling the weight of judgmental stares. At the TSA checkpoint, the discrimination continued. Agent Carla Hensley singled them out for random screening, though her eyes had tracked them from the moment they entered. Their belongings were dumped onto tables, and Hensley rifled through Amara's laptop and Elise's asthma inhaler with exaggerated suspicion. "What's this?" she demanded, holding up the inhaler. "It's my medication," Elise replied patiently. "The prescription's on the label." Hensley called for a supervisor, turning a routine check into a public spectacle. The pat-down that followed was invasive, with Hensley's comments about their braided hairstyles drawing snickers from other travelers. A white passenger began recording, but was quickly ordered to delete the footage. By the time they were cleared, 40 minutes had passed, and their belongings were carelessly repacked, Amara's laptop now scratched. At Runway Bistro, their attempt to grab a quick meal was met with more hostility. Hostess Jenna Larson barely glanced up from her phone. "How many?" she asked curtly, unlike the warm greeting she'd given the white family before them. "2." Elise said politely, 18:53, politely. Larson checked her tablet. "It's a 50-minute wait." Amara pointed to empty tables. "But there are open seats right there." Larson's face hardened. "Those are reserved." Amara pulled up the bistro's website, which stated seating was first come, first served. Larson flushed. "The site's outdated. We take reservations now." Moments later, she seated a white couple at one of the reserved tables. When Elise protested, manager Greg Fallon intervened. "You're causing a scene," he said, though the twins had spoken calmly. "Find somewhere else to eat." A Latina server, Maria Alvarez, slipped Amara her business card with an apologetic look, a small act of solidarity that would later prove crucial. At Gate B17, the situation worsened. Gate agent Derek Walsh scrutinized their economy boarding passes as if they were forged. "There's a problem here," he said loudly, drawing attention. "These passes look altered. Step aside." The twins protested, showing their Lincoln Academy IDs, but Walsh called security, claiming the passes were fraudulent. Security guards Tom Reynolds and Frank Dorsey approached with aggressive postures. "You're delaying boarding," Reynolds said. "This is discrimination," Elise stated firmly. "We have legitimate tickets, and you're targeting us because we're black." Walsh's face reddened. "That's a serious accusation. I could have you banned from this airport." Before the situation escalated further, a new voice intervened. "What's the issue, Derek?" Karen Mitchell, a black supervisor in her 50s, approached. The twins hoped for an ally, but Mitchell's expression was stern. She'd risen through Great Lakes ranks by avoiding conflict and upholding the status quo. "Why can't you follow standard procedures?" she asked, siding with Walsh. The betrayal stung. Amara spoke carefully. "We've followed every procedure, but our tickets were illegally changed, and we're being accused of fraud." Mitchell's tone hardened. "If you keep making accusations, I'll deny you boarding entirely." Exhausted and out of options, the twins prepared to board in economy. On the jet bridge, onboard coordinator Logan Pierce blocked their path. "Hold on," he said, examining their passes with theatrical suspicion. These seats were reassigned due to overbooking. Amara's patience snapped. "There's no confusion. Our first-class tickets were illegally downgraded, and we've been harassed all day because of our race." Pierce's face twisted with anger. "That's it. Security, remove them." As guards approached, Amara pulled out her phone and dialed her father, putting the call on speaker. "Dad, Great Lakes Airlines is refusing our tickets. We need your help." The voice that answered was calm and commanding. "Amara, tell me exactly what's happened." Pierce tried to interrupt, but the voice cut him off. "Mr. Pierce, this is Dr. Marcus Thornton. Do not interrupt my daughter." The jet bridge fell silent. Pierce paled as Thornton continued. "I'm the CEO of Great Lakes Airlines, and you've subjected my daughters to racial discrimination. You've revealed how this airline treats black passengers when you think no one's watching." Passengers gasped, sensing history unfolding. Thornton's voice grew grim. "I'm implementing emergency protocol Omega. Every Great Lakes flight is grounded until we investigate." The terminal erupted in chaos as departure boards flickered to delayed. Thornton addressed the crowd. "Document everything. Every name, every incident. We're ensuring system, not just fixing this injustice. We're making it right." The twins were escorted to a private lounge, where Thornton joined them. He revealed he'd been covertly monitoring company culture, and their experience was the evidence he needed to expose systemic bias. He named the employees involved: Baxter, Hensley, Walsh, Pierce, Mitchell, and Fallon, ordering them to report for questioning. In a Manhattan boardroom, investor Harold Grayson raged over the financial losses, $25 million and counting. He conspired to silence the twins, ordering VP Emily Harper to isolate them and IT Director Alan Brooks to erase evidence. Amara, a skilled coder, blocked Brooks' attempts, preserving security footage and ticket records. Elise rallied witnesses, including Maria Alvarez, whose recordings exposed Fallon's racism. The twins debunked fake social media posts smearing them, tracing the IP addresses to Great Lakes offices. At an emergency board meeting, Grayson moved to oust Thornton, citing the grounding's cost. Thornton countered with a damning report. Discrimination complaints were 350% above industry average, hidden from shareholders. His evidence, including the twins' ordeal, crushed Grayson's motion. The board backed Thornton's anti-discrimination reforms. The story broke nationally, with Great Lakes discrimination trending. Baxter's defensive interview backfired, confirming bias. Hensley was suspended after body camera footage exposed her targeting minorities. Walsh and Fallon faced investigations, while Grayson resigned amid shareholder outrage. Thornton's press conference with the twins outlined sweeping changes: mandatory training, a passenger bill of rights, and an independent review board. The employees involved were retrained, not fired, to foster systemic change. 6 months later, the twins boarded a Great Lakes flight at Gate B-17, treated with respect by Agent Priya Patel. The airline's new culture of dignity was evident. Baxter led sensitivity training. Hensley consulted on TSA bias. Walsh pursued social work. Mitchell became director of customer experience, and Fallon's restaurant adopted the reforms. The twins testified before Congress, sparking industry-wide regulations. Their book, Demanding Dignity, became a business school staple. A year later, the Great Lakes model transformed corporate America, with 250 companies adopting similar programs. At a Washington, D.C. summit, Amara reported a 45% drop in airline discrimination complaints, while Elise highlighted Great Lakes' 65% stock rise. Thornton pushed for federal bias training mandates. The term Great Lakes moment described exposed institutional bias. The twins' legacy ensured dignity for all passengers, a victory embodied by a young black girl, Maya, who thanked them at Boston Logan Airport for making travel fair.